Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another ancient Irish tale. And this is in the tales of traditional kings, part of the mythological cycle. And this one is called The Death of Niall of the Nine Hostages. So sit back, relax, enjoy a horn of mead, and smash that subscribe button. And enjoy. Though the following story in its present form can hardly be older than the 11th century, it doubtless contains reminiscence of Irish invasions of Great Britain during the late 4th and early 5th centuries, when, as we know from the British records and other evidence, the inhabitants of Britain were suffering from the inroads of the Scots. Once, Ecgfrith, the son of Inochasta, went from the house of Niall to the nine hostages, son of Ecgfrith Morgan, southward out to his own land. That is, now Leinster. Then it befell that in order to ask for food, he went to the house of Niall's poet. That was Lichten, son of Bertin, the chief poet of Niall. The young man was refused hospitality by the poet. Ooh, that's never a good thing. The same Ecgfrith came from the south, destroyed the stronghold of the poet, and killed his only son. Let son of Lichten. Thereupon, for a whole year, the poet kept satirizing and lampooning the men of Leinster, and cursing them, so that neither grass nor grain grew with them, nor a leaf to the end of the year. Then Niall went to Leinster on a raid, and he said that he would not go from them so long as he was alive, or until Ecgfrith was given him a privilege and hostage. And this had to be done, so Ecgfrith was taken to Ecgfrith and Gortrefe on the bank of the Slinny, and was left there before Niall, with a chain around his neck. And the end of the chain, though a hole in the stone pillar, 9 champions advanced towards him, to slay him. "Whoa," said Ecgfrith, "this is very bad indeed." Then he gave himself a twist so that the chain broke in two. He seized the iron bolt that was, through the chain and advanced to meet them. He piled the bolt on them so that the 9 fell. The other men turned before him down the hill. Those of the Leinster pursued him, and, he slaughtered them, so that they fell. Thereupon Niall came southward once more and reached Innisfell. "A guarantee shall be given from the man of Leinster," said Lecan, "and let Ecgfrith come, that he may be seen by us at this river for so long as a cow is being milked." "Let it be done," said Ecgfrith. Then, while his arms were taken away from him, the poet began to rival the men of Leinster and Ecgfrith, so that they melted away before him. As he was reveling them, Ecgfrith let fly at him a champion stone, which he had on his belt, so that it hit the crown of his forehead and lodged in his skull. Thus it was that Lichten was killed. Once the Corran was sung. "A champion's headstone was well known, was hurled. Eccan, son of Inna, through it at Lynch comes down a Berger." After having raided Leinster, Niall went home, and Eanchain was exiled from Ireland so long as Niall reigned. He wandered until he came to the house of Eric, son of Ecgfrith, king of Scotland. Niall, however, went to obtain kingship as far as Gaul and Italy, and he was called of the 9 hostages. because he had 5 hostages from Ireland and 1 hostage each from Scotland and from the Saxons and the Britons and the Franks, whence it is said, Echrin's son, his high dignity, noble Niall Ferch's shout, seized this wave of kinship of Erin and Alba. He had hostage from them the provinces throughout the land of Erin. He brought to his will without severance and hostage out of Alba. Hence he was called among the hosts of the battlesome warriors, in a row of boneful kings, combative Niall of the 9 hostages. Now, when he came to Alps, there was a great river between them, with the Lord of the Alps, and they were unable to cross it, and so they sat down on its banks. And they saw a single warrior coming towards them. A crimson 5-fold cloak was well about him. In his hands he held 2 5-pronged spears, and a betel-rimmed shield with a boss of gold was on him. On his belt hung an ivory hilted sword. His hair was in pelts over his back. "Welcome to the hero whom we do not know," said Niall. "It is for this we have come," he said. "What is it from whence thou hast come?" said Niall. "I have come from the Romans to have speech with thee," he said. "And this day fortnight their hostages will come to thee. Until they come here, I am as primary hostages for thee." Others say that their hostages were terraced to the house of Eris, son of Echramumur, king of Scotland, and that it is as there Niall was killed among the bards of the Picts, and as he was exasperating his shape to him, or, well, that it may have been the maidens of the Franks who desired him to exhibit his shape. Then Eric went towards the assembly. "I shall go with thee," said Echrin, "to see my brother in his royal seat before the men of the world." When they'd arrived, Eric said that, "Well, he is yonder." There was a gleam between them. Without the knowledge of Eric, Echrin shot an arrow from the bow, so that the king fell dead from that single shot. Thereupon the Franks attacked the Gauls, and the men of Scotland stood by the latter for the sake of their kingship. So they came to Ireland, carrying the body of their king with them, and 7 battles were fought in the presence of the dead king. It was Torma the poet of Carricklincha who had fostered Niall. Now, that he hated the report that his foster son had been slain, his foster brother Turin, son of Thomas, said, "When we used to go to the gathering with the sons of Echramurgan, as yellow as the primrose was the hair upon the head of Caramin's son. Garin, the curly-backed daughter of Scatterbear, king of the Saxons, was the mother of Niall." Said his foster mother, "His white teeth, his red lips, under anger, his shape like a fiery blaze, summoning warlike Erin, the hue of his cheeks at all times, even symmetrical as they were, like the foxglove, like calf's blood, a feast without flaw, like the top branches of the forest in May, like the moon, like the sun, like a firebrand with splendor of Niall, like a dragon ship from the wave, while the fault of Niall, son of Eric Mechrin. This is a youthful music in the wail of every mouth in Kerry. It brings grief upon us and our house for the death of Niall, grandson of Murach. 'Twas great delight, 'twas great ease to be in the company of my dear foster son. When the son of Echrin's was no small thing, we used to go to the gathering. They say, however, that grief for Niall carried off Torma. By a man of Leinster then Niall was killed. Whence is said, Niall Echrin's son, great in fight, Erin in Scotland, are in affliction. He through whom a swift Saxon arrow was put by Echrin, son of the glorious Enna. That is the death of Niall, son of Echra and of Lochlin, son of Bershad, and the hand of Eshin, son of Enan Karshach.